This video is made possible by Clove Technology. Visit clove.co.uk to pick up the LG G3 and other devices SIM-free. What's up YouTube, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and this is my hands-on review of the LG G3. Now this is the latest offering from LG, which is also their flagship, and on paper this would seem like one of the best smartphones out there right now. Is that actually the case hands-on? Well, let's find out. So let's start off with what's most talked about this device, which is that display. You've got a 5.5 inch screen and it's a QuadHD resolution, so that's 2560 by 1440 pixels. Now it's called QuadHD because it's 4 times 720p, and that comes to 538 ppi pixel density, which is absolutely insane. This results in a very sharp display. This is probably one of the sharpest screens that I've used, and images and text look absolutely crystal clear. Now blacks aren't as deep as a Super AMOLED display, so if you're coming from a Samsung Galaxy device, you may find the colors a little bit washed out, but overall it's a very nice display. Now the big question is the difference in PPI noticeable compared to a 1080p screen? Well, let me put it this way, if you're looking for it, then yes, you'll notice it, otherwise probably not. I mean, if you are going to be coming onto this device just for that resolution, then I don't think that's a good idea, because compared to a 1080p display of this screen size, you're not massively going to notice a difference, although there is a difference there. Now moving on to the size, design and build, even though this device has a 5.5 inch screen, it doesn't actually feel too big. LG have done a great job in making this one of the most compact devices in this sort of screen size. The device only weighs 149 grams, and that's because it does have a plastic build. However, it's got metallic skin, which looks very nice. I mean, realistically speaking, if you didn't know this device was built in plastic, you'd probably think it's a metal device. It looks very slick, and everyone that I've shown the device to has really liked it. Now in terms of performance, you've got a quad-core 2.5 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 processor with the Adreno 330 GPU, and this device is available in either the 2GB or 3GB RAM versions. Now I did think that the resolution will affect on-screen performance, but it did really well. I mean, in terms of benchmarks, this didn't score as high as some of the other competitive devices out there which have similar internals, such as the Samsung Galaxy S5, and that does partly come down to that extra resolution, which it does have to work a little bit more harder for. But generally speaking, it was very powerful, fast and snappy. No issues whatsoever. I didn't experience any lag using this device. Now memory, you've got either the 16 or 32GB versions. The 16GB version comes with the 2GB of RAM, and the 32GB version comes with the 3GB of RAM. I've got the 16GB version here, but storage isn't really a problem because you've got a micro SD card slot, so you can expand this device up to 128GB via a micro SD card. Now cameras, you've got a 13 megapixel rear facing camera, which has optical image stabilization, which is a key thing here. Not many devices are offering this. You've got laser autofocus, which is something new, and you've got a dual LED flash. In terms of the interface, they've left it very simple. There's not a huge deal of toggles or anything. You can just go out there and take lots of nice pictures, and it takes some great quality pictures, lots of detail, crisp and clear shots, and the autofocus is super fast. It definitely is one of the fastest out there. You can really quickly snap focus on 2 different areas and take some great quality images. Now video, you can film up to 2160p, so that's a 4K resolution, and it's absolutely great. I think the best thing about this is that you've got optical image stabilization. This is something that not many other devices are offering, so when you are filming at 4K, you can still get some very stable footage. In terms of the autofocus, I did find it slightly slow when you're filming video, but you can always tap to focus if needed. I would say overall at 4K, this is probably one of the best smartphone cameras out there. Now in terms of the front-facing camera, you've got a 2.1 megapixel front-facing camera capable of filming 1080p HD. Now this once again is pretty good. It's going to be fine for your selfies and video conferencing. And one of the key things here, which is quite nice and something unique, is using your hand gesture to set a timer for the front-facing camera. You simply hold out your hand and then clench your fist, and then it's going to set off a timer to take a picture. This is great because you're not going to have that camera shake when you initially press that button, especially for a device of this size. Now the operating system, you've got Android KitKat 4.4.2 on here, but it does come with LG's Optimus UI on top. Now I personally don't find this too bad. I think it's pretty nice. It's clean, and it reminds me a little bit of TouchWiz at times. For example, the notification toggles along the top, which you can customize, This is absolutely great. And you've also got multi-window support, so you can have 2 apps open at the same time and really utilize the screen size. And you've also got some custom LG features on here, which are also very good. The clipboard is something that I definitely liked. You can copy some text and it's going to actually put it in the clipboard, so rather than just copying one thing at one time, which is the case with pretty much all of the devices out there right now, you can have your clipboard and you can always switch back to things that you've copied previously. Nutcode is something else that's unique to LG. Now this lets you tap a sequence to unlock your phone, so a unique sequence to unlock your device. This once again is pretty decent. I find myself using it sometimes, but it's something quite different and unique. Now touching on some of the additional features of this device, firstly you've got the 1-watt speaker with the booster amp at the back. This is pretty decent. Once again, it's not at the front, so it's not going to be a match for something like the HTC One M8, but then again, what is? And you've also got no buttons on the side of this device. This is something quite unique to LG. You've got the buttons at the back of the device, so the volume buttons as well as the power button. Now this does take some time getting used to, but I found myself double tapping the front of the screen, which also wakes and sleeps the screen rather than having to pick up the device each time. This was especially the case when I just had the device laying on the table and I just wanted to see what sort of notifications and things that I've got rather than having to pick it up each time. Now you do have a notification LED on the device, which is going to flash in different colors depending on your notifications, but this is quite small. I would have preferred it to be a little bit bigger like some of the other devices. You do have to sort of look for it sometimes. It's not as obvious as it should be, so that's just something to bear in mind. There's also an IR blaster at the top, so this you can use to control your television and things. I've got an LG TV at home and it was just so easy to set up. Literally took a couple of seconds and then I was controlling my television right away, so this is definitely a useful feature. Now the battery, you've got a 3000 milliamp battery which is removable. Once again, I was expecting this to suffer because of that insane resolution, but overall it was very, very good. I got up to 5 hours of on-screen time throughout the day, which is pretty good, so if you're a medium to heavy user you still shouldn't have a problem. You can always get an additional battery if that is the case. But if you're a light to medium user, you could possibly push this device to 2 days of usage. Now finally, looking at the price for the 16GB base model, you can pick it up for roughly just below £500 in the UK, or roughly about $650 in the US. Now these prices are off contract, just to give you an idea of the value of this device. So there we have it, the LG G3. To answer the question at the start of this video, is this one of the best smartphones out there right now? Well, I would say it definitely is. I think LG have worked really hard to include as many features on here as possible and check off as many boxes as possible in terms of the requirements from consumers. You've got a beautiful Quad HD display. The build and design of this device is absolutely great, and you've got expandable storage as well as a removable battery. The list goes on, so definitely hats off to LG for creating this awesome device. And I think up until now LG have been sort of an underdog in terms of the mainstream smartphone market. You've got some of the big dogs out there like Samsung and HTC, but I think with the G3 they're definitely going to be competing on the top league. What do you think of the G3? Do you think it's one of the best smartphones out there right now? Do drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, as always, please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. And why not subscribe to the channel? I've got plenty more content coming up on here. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV. And I'll see you next time. If you want to see more regular videos like this one, then be sure to hit the subscribe button, which will be below. If you're on a mobile device, it may be somewhere else. If you want to see my previous related video, then hit the link right here. If you want to stay in touch over Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, then all of the addresses will be there somewhere, as well as direct links in the description below. Okay, if you're still watching, then that means you've not done one of those things, so, you know. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna go downstairs. See. Okay. There isn't really a downstairs. Anyway, so yeah.